Okay, here we are. Here we are, and here we go. So, Metro Exodus, because it is excellent. It's actually a really good game. Graphics and story are pretty cool. Graphics are amazing. But I've played the main game, and I have played the first DLC, two kernels, and now I'm relatively. I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through Sam's story, which is the second DLC, and that's really cool. So, without further ado, we will. I'm just going to check. I just want to check that I've got game audio on, which, yep, that should be okay. And what else am I waiting for here? Nothing. Let's get it on, shall we? Oh yeah. Plus, I've got a control. I've got my controller. There is plugged into my keyboard, and I'm not 100% sure that that works. So once the game comes up, and I can hand it over to the controller, we will check. It's all gone very dark. Oh, here we go. It's a bit scary for a bit. So you can click through all this stuff if the controller's working, which I think it is. I hope it is. So keen-eyed viewers will have noticed a change in the logo. What I'm trying to do, well, it's obvious what I'm trying to do. Stadia is absolutely my 100% favourite cloud gaming platform. But I was saying on Brandon Harmon's stream yesterday, let's see if I can kick out of this. Here we go. There we go. That, and it was a thought that I'd not really had before, and it was that the reason why, let me just see if I can get this controller working. I've got, try turning it on. Let's have a look. Yeah, the reason that no, I don't think it's going to work. Okay, I wasn't sure if it would be able to send the necessary control commands through the keyboard, so we'll whack it in directly into the PC and see if that does the job. PC, it's a Mac. Don't tell Apple. Cracky, it's not working there either. Come on. Alright, let's get into the game. We'll have a look in a second. I'll unplug it and plug it back in again. That might help. So, I was saying that the tribalism, gaming tribalism, if you think about it, it probably emanates from the fact that if you have a PlayStation or an Xbox or a PC, I must stop swinging around, you've invested financially. I mean, you've made a choice. You've said, I'm going down the Xbox route, and every game that I buy from now on is going to be an Xbox game. Every community that I join is going to be an Xbox community. So, you know, you've 100% right. I'm going to just continue that conversation once I've got this controller working. Let's plug that in and see if I can, because I don't want to play this with a keyboard, or it's going to be quite embarrassing if I do. It's not having it, is it? Let's try plugging it in again. Taking it out, plugging it in. It definitely does work with a controller. That much I know, because I was playing Division yesterday. But at the moment, okay. So the trouble is, it's a relatively simple game from a control perspective, but there are a couple of key commands, keyboard commands, which catch me out every time. So what I was saying was that you've invested, so of course you're in that tribe. Goes without saying, doesn't it? And of course yours is the best, and of course you're going to diss the comp, as I put it. With cloud gaming, though, it's so different because you can set up a free Stadia account. You can get a free GeForce Now account. In the not too distant future, if you've already got Amazon Prime, you're probably going to have a free cloud gaming account with Amazon. And right now, anybody can join the xCloud trial as long as you have an Android phone. So there's no barrier to entry. You haven't had to make a purchasing decision that precludes you from being in anybody else's club, right? So as much as I love Stadia, and I do, I genuinely think it's amazing technologically, and I love the ethos of the platform, of Google Stadia themselves, and I love the community. So as much as all of that is true, there's nothing to stop me cloud gaming on any platform. I mean, Bill at Cloudcast says something similar about, his analogy is Coke and Pepsi, and it kind of works. But it doesn't, because he drinks neither, and funny enough, neither do I. I hate the stuff. But the key thing is that it then comes down to the content, right? Because there will be exclusives on all of these platforms, but you don't have to pay to access those games. You have to pay for the games, most probably. And yeah, I do have obviously a pro account, and I'm likely to stick with that pro account. I'm desperate to get this controller to work. But equally, I've got Amazon Prime. All right, there now is. I actually played this part yesterday. One of the annoying things about Metro is if you come out, even if you've got a little bit of progress under your belt, you're going to go back to a key save point, which I am. So these two are just going to give me some waffle for a while. So it gives me an opportunity to talk. So yeah, the key thing is, I don't even think you're getting the sound from the game anyway, are you? So, oh, I know why. I know why. Because I've got the speakers set up for headphone, which is not going to help you at all. Doesn't matter, you haven't heard anything so far, have you? Let's go with output as MacBook Pro speakers. There we go. You should get it now. I'll test this in a second. Okay, that's... Oh, controllers don't work, do they? Wow. Well, I heard me. Yeah, okay, so what we're getting is the audio of... Why am I dead? Why am I dead?
Thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
Next, where did you need to go?
To the fire depot.
You can see it from here. The red building with the tower.
Yeah, what you're actually getting is the game audio through the microphone. That's okay. You don't need to hear it anyway. It's, who needs to hear the game? So, where was I? Tribalism. Yeah, so my attitude is that it becomes about the content, and as long as you've got, I've got a Prime account. I have had for years, and I'm not going to cancel it any day soon. So I'm going to have access to Prime Gaming. I'm 99% certain that they'll offer it to Prime. It'll be a Prime service, and it'll have a free tier, and a paid-for tier, just like they do with everything else they have. You know, you can go to Amazon Prime Video and you can watch free content, and some of it's really good free, and some of it's tat, and most of it is old content. And I think it'll be the same for gaming. So you'll have high quality and low quality, and you'll make a decision. But the point is that I'm making that same decision in Stadia. So if I have a free account, which I don't, but I could do, and so could anybody, I could just go to either of those two and go, oh, hang on a minute, they've got Metro Exodus on Stadia. They don't have it on Amazon, and it's a really good game, and I've wanted to play it for a long time, so I'm going to pony up. I'm going to put my $15 down and play it. Similarly on Amazon. So, long way of saying, it occurred to me that, truthfully, it's not about hoisting a flag for a specific platform, even if right now that is the number one. I mean, it is the number one. I don't care what anybody says. You can argue the toss all day long that GeForce now probably has more players, but it's a virtual PC. It's a virtual window on Steam predominantly. xCloud is a virtual Xbox. Stadia is the only platform that is of itself. It isn't a clone of anything. It's a unique platform to the extent that games have to be ported to it. So there will be exclusives that you won't see anywhere else. I mean, there will be games that have been developed for Stadia with Stadia. And that's the other thing as well, of course, is each of these platforms are going to have potentially unique features. Amazon is going to have integration into Twitch, and if Twitch is your thing, which for me, I've had a Twitch account for a long time, but I think I've streamed. I streamed once actually, and it was quite successful. I might even do it again sometime. But YouTube is the big boy. I mean, it's where everybody is, and so Stadia is the only current platform that integrates with YouTube. So you pay your money, right? However, I don't think, my feeling is that there's no need to back one platform. Let's just grab his bullets off him. Thanks, bro. So I'm now officially Rokk Cloud Gaming, or Rokk Cloud Gaming, however you want to read into that. Let me just jump down here. I'm going to go to this bench. I just picked up a mod, which actually, and I think it's for the chest. Yeah, it's for this chest thing here. And what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade our vest to give us more ammo, which is pretty cool. So we can carry more ammo. It's a great little game, this. I mean, it's got kind of overtones of Far Cry, and I love Far Cry. The recent ones have been amazing, and I play it again. I play any of them again. My favourite one, which was the one most slated, was Far Cry Primeval, I think it was called, where it was set back in the Ice Age. And I tell you, the attention to detail, hi Rick, sorry I didn't see you before. I've actually got OBS on this screen covering up YouTube, which is very rude of me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide OBS, and I'm going to go to YouTube, because that's the right thing to do, right? So I don't know that you're still there, but I'll say hi. Right. So that's the thing. I've got my I've got a logo covering my face. How rude of me, Struth. I have to remedy this. God, blimey. Good job I'm not live, hey? And nobody mentioned it either. Still, it's been great conversation. You have to agree. Let me pop myself up there. Let's get me out of the way. And I'll sort that logo out at some point. I don't need two, do I? Okay, so that's the reason behind Rokk Cloud Gaming. And at the moment, I'm sticking. I've got Stadia Rock's Twitter account, and I'm not moving. I haven't changed it as yet. And but I will once it's kind of accepted. I don't want what I really don't want is the community to think I'm selling out or I'm moving or I don't deserve my place in the community anymore, because I don't think that's not what I'm trying to achieve here. I'm not moving away. I'm not moving away from Stadia at all. It's still my number one platform. I mean, I've actually got two PS4 Pros and an Xbox and a Wii, but they're not. I don't use them. This is what I use all the time. All I'm saying is that in the future it's going to become about the content and not the platform, because there's no barrier to which platform that you want to use. You just have to decide what game you want to play or what features you want to use. For content creators, when they finally implement the YouTube streaming option, of course, then yeah, that may very well be the deciding block for most streamers. Please work, please content controller. What I might do actually is break out of Metro and come back in again, because I think that's all it needs. There we go. Exit game. Go back in. There we go. Yeah, so that's the reason behind the name, and I think it makes sense. I mean, it's kind of a this isn't going to work with a controller. It kind of makes sense to me anyway. And also the other thing was that I felt I'm tying myself to a brand. I'm using somebody else's logo and and their name. And the one thing that it's obvious if you that's interesting. The one thing that is obvious if you follow any of my stuff across the world is that Rokk is what I go with pretty much everywhere, and it is, it's a unique brand. It's trademarked. Yeah, right, Rick. Thank you. You're absolutely right. That's it in a nutshell. That is it in a nutshell, my friend. So it was only 8 weeks or so that I started doing any form of content creation, and at that time, all I knew was that I knew something about Stadia, and I could have jumped on and done a PlayStation channel, but I would have been lost in a sea of 500,000 people, 1,000,000 people. But Stadia, I felt I could bring something to the community, and that was why I chose. Well, it's not why, it was the only option for me. I mean, that was it. And I genuinely feel 100% behind the brand. So yeah, I just felt that this has got to be more about a wider content, even if it's 80% Stadia and 20% other stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't PC gamed for years, so I don't have a massive library of stuff in Steam. I mean, I tell you how, we're going back. I've got oh crikey, I've forgotten the name of the game now. Anyway, I've got a game in there that's probably 20 odd years old, so that's kind of how far back You know, I've had that account and I've not really used it much. So it's not going to be, it's not going to be a lot of GeForce Now, in fairness, unless there was specifically. I mean, most of the games that I play are available elsewhere. I mean, there's. I don't know. I say that. I don't know whether Death Stranding is going to be on Steam. I know it's going. I know it's. They're releasing it for PC. I mean, I played it. I love that game. I completed it over Christmas. I'd been off sick for about 2 months, I guess, with pneumonia and pleurisy and all sorts of nastiness. I genuinely think it was, some kind of coronavirus. Whether it was the coronavirus, I doubt. But I don't know. I don't know. Could have been. I'll never know because they're not. I'm not going to get a test any day soon. Not in this country. But any road up, I was off for 2 months with that. So Death Stranding was my friend. It really was. I loved that game, and it's like there's certain games, aren't there, in your life that just they mean a huge amount. They happen at a time in your life where you sort of they happen in a time of your life that connects with something, and that connected with the fact that I remember that time very well. I was not in a good place, but it's just a beautiful story, and weird. I mean, just weird, just a genius story. It really is. I think it's so easy in a creative field, and my entire working career has been in a creative field, or I started with a publishing business, doing kind of street maps and commercial street maps and that kind of stuff. And then I moved that to a design agency, so that was very creative. And then to web design. That was one of the very first web agencies, pretty much everywhere, I guess. And then, oops, you're not getting much of a stream here. You're getting me talking, aren't you? I'm sorry about this. But there's just some stuff that I wanted to kind of get off my chest, and I know it's really early, and I didn't expect to be. I'm so pleased that you've joined me. Thank you. But I genuinely didn't expect to get anyone join me. I just thought I would get some stuff off my chest, and there we go. Oh, it's tab to close. This is why I don't like using keyboard and mouse, because every single game, has its own keyboard map, and like now I need to look at my itinerary, which has a map on it, so that I can see where I need to go. Actually, no, it's roughly in that direction, but I just I've got to dig around for ages to find the darn thing without throwing a grenade or wasting bullets or whatever it is. After design agency website, which was a web design company, and then my current business. So, I've always been involved in some level of creativity. That's why I anything that I can create within, that gets that side of my brain going, I absolutely adore it, and that's why I've taken to this. At this moment in time, I'm truly passionate about content creation, and I've only ever watched it from afar. It's never been something that I just thought, that takes so much effort. There's absolutely no way, and I'm going to be able to do any of that. And that statement is true. It takes a huge. Oh, there's a boat. I wonder. Let's get on that boat before we get attacked by a giant lobster. Even if it just gives me an opportunity to remind myself. There we go. What the key bindings are for the map. And the look at the lobster. He's joined us. Wow. Right, bro, we're going to go for a ride. Where'd you fancy going, man? Too late, pal. You had your choice. Uber's out. Right. So, I don't want to go away from my objective, but I'm assuming that will reverse. Yeah. But I really, truly need to see that map. Yeah, so creativity, I love it. I love it. And, you know, you're seeing it really in the kind of logo creation stuff. And everything I do has to have that level of professionalism, if you like, because it's what I do all day long. So, you know, when I'm putting the videos together, for example, I go to stupid degrees, you know, watching it back, editing, making tiny, tiny changes, because it's what I do all day long for clients. Or actually, I don't. I've got to be honest with you. I have other people to do that, but I have done it, and very occasionally I do it for people, largely friends and people that need a helping hand with their businesses and stuff. So, without the ability to look at my map, this looks like a place I should be. Given that I couldn't go any further, and they've given me a bridge and a ladder. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, that's it really. Rokk Cloud Gaming, and I don't really like the name, to be honest with you. It's all very wordy, but Rokk Cloud I don't like. I actually thought about Rock Loud, like, for obvious reasons, but it was too clever. If you get my meaning. So I didn't go ahead with Rock Loud. I've got to find that map. Do you know what? Let's press M. Well, there you go. You see how developers do the thinking for you. And look, we're bleeding miles away from where we need to be. I've got to be where that large X is. X marks the spot. And I'm absolutely miles away from it. Interestingly, let's get rid of the map. Right, so that's the point. Interestingly, when I started doing content creation, streaming videos, I purchased an Elgato S60 Plus because, oh no, what happened there? Well, that was rude. Blimey, right in the middle of a conversation, I must have hit a landmine or something. How bizarre. Yeah, I bought an Elgato because everybody said you've got to have one to stream. And I watched Andy Morph's video that showed how you can get over the... right, got to think about this. It doesn't show anything on the map, does it? You can't zoom in that close. No. There's a couple of question marks, which I'm not that... Oh, got the wrong way. I'm not too worried about... I'm not too worried about exploring. Excuse me. 10 to 7 in the morning. I thought I'd come on early. I woke up early and I thought, oh, I'm going to do a bit of streaming. But yeah, Andy Morph had a video out, which was the first time I'd... No, whoa. Oh, struth. I didn't see. I was looking for it. Showed you how to bypass the digital rights encryption, which is inherent with Stadia, with Chromecast, which is annoying as hell because you're streaming it, right, from another device. I suppose you could use it to copy stuff, but you'd think it'd be clever enough to know you're playing a game. What's the worst that could happen? You stream it to YouTube or you record it and show a friend. I mean, they can't play the darn thing. So that's pretty short-sighted, and it's probably just built straight in to the HDMI, so I doubt that they can be as selective as deciding which device to release it. But any road up, that's what happens. And what it actually means is, annoyingly, is you can't view it in 4K, which is annoying. However, I have since discovered that if you use OBS or any of its siblings and you use screen capture, rather than window capture, you get a pretty darn good stream from it. I think it's every bit as good as an Elgato, full stop. So I'm annoyed because I could have saved myself $150 on that. And actually, sitting in the chair behind me with the TV 4 or 5 feet ahead of me in my little office here, my little Rokk cave, you can't, it's not, I prefer playing this close because I'm getting old, guys, and my eyesight's not what it used to be. So therefore, that was a waste of money, and this allows me to actually stream a lot better than I could have done there. So I wish I hadn't bought it, but there you go. That's things. All right, look at the map. Stop waffling, Rokk. You're going the wrong way again, you idiot. You idiot. So you need to be facing in that direction and going this way, which is all good because they've given me a little set of stairs. There we go. And I tell you, the detail in this, visually the detail is stunning. I mean, it's not going to come across too well because this is obviously 1080p. But in 4K, the textures just are gorgeous. Hello, I've been here before. So clearly I need to go this way. Let's just double check that on the map. No, wrong way again. Jeez. Yeah, it's a feature. An annoying one, but it is a feature. You don't have an on-screen HUD. Ouch. But you can check your map from time to time. So, do you know what? Look at that. That's where that boat was. I took the boat, took it somewhere I didn't know. Look at that. I've got to get across there, and I've gone and lost my boat. Oh no. I'm going to have to go back and find that thing because there's no way I'm getting across there without it. And it's now just me on my own. It's so sad when all it shows is one concurrent viewer and you realise that that's you. But in the future, I'm sure there are more people watching this, so welcome and thank you. Thank you for watching me in the future. Future person. Is the world any better? Has it anything changed? Have we got better leaders? Have we got people that care? Have we cured all ills? Have we saved the economy? Or is it exactly the same as here a few hours ago in the past? Almost certainly. Check your map, young Rokk. You're going in the completely the wrong direction. Wow. Well, this is probably the world's most boring stream. Rokk taking a walk on a map in Metro Exodus, but taking the opportunity to there's a boat. Taking the opportunity to explain a few things to you, and my craft. One thing I've discovered since getting involved with content creation. Let's see where we've got to go here. No, other way, my friend. Is that I don't find talking incessantly and inanely about tat particularly difficult. Pet hate of mine is not pronouncing the letters in a word, and which is why I have an accent that nobody can place, because few people do that anymore. What was I saying? Yes, talking. Ironically, isn't something that I've discovered that I have a skill for it. Although, heading in the right direction now, although it has to be said, talking with other people is more fun. And as you will probably know, myself and Clive Illenden have a new show coming up. Everyone calls them podcasts, but they're not. In my head, a podcast is something that's audio only. Clive calls it a podcast, and others do live video streams and call them podcasts. Now, I get that they are often released on audio after, and I get that. But for me, they're just live stream videos. But anyway, webcasts, I suppose you could call them. Streamcasts. I like to call them shows because that's a kind of metaphor that everybody can relate to, right? And the concept behind Rokk, certainly Stadia Rocks, was that I would have a kind of a load of shows, and it would almost be like a little mini network. So Stadia Rocks was the flagship. I'm just wondering if I can jump. I don't think it'll let me. It doesn't look like it's detailed enough for that. Let's give it a go, shall we? And now obviously there's Rokk Around the Clock, which is the daily news digest, which I'm still perfecting, to be honest with you. It's still taking longer than it should do. I'm still taking about an hour. I might be able to do this for 1 minute. No, it won't let me. For 1.5, 2 minutes of video, and that's silly. Because the concept is that Stadia Rocks takes a ridiculous amount of time. I mean, an aggregate of 30 odd hours, and that's no good for anybody. And what I discovered, and it broke my heart really, was I get as many views for Rokk Around the Clock as I do for some of my, or as I have done for some of the old Stadia Rocks that took me 3 days to put together. And present me feels really sorry for past me having put all that effort in. But that's the learning curve, right? I mean, that's what we're all doing. Everybody that's got a great show and does an amazing job, like Stadia Cast and Glory of Stadia, Wingy and Raf and all those guys, they're all learning their craft, or they've learned their craft. And I like to think people like Wingy and Bill have learnt their craft. I mean, they've put in years of graft to learn that craft. Hey, that rhymes. And I've put in weeks, so don't get me wrong. I mean, I've learned a massive amount, and I have. Oh, hello, green light. Looks like it's a way in here. On top of that, I've had, in the tiny amount of time that I've been doing this, I've had stupid success. I mean, way beyond what I deserve. I'm partly, I've got to be honest, partly that's bringing my specific set of experiences to it. Caught you. And by that I mean my largely my business experiences, I guess. But if it's one thing I know, it's how to market and how to bring something to market and how to generate an audience. And I've got a ridiculous amount of subscribers. Ridiculous. That's a horrible word to use, Rokk. I'm amazed and I'm hugely humbled, and I'm not just saying that, I mean this, that in 8 weeks I'm on, I've got something stupid like nearly 800 subscribers. And that's partly because of my content, true, but it's because I reached out to my audience, or my Twitter followers. I've got 16 or 17,000 Twitter followers on one account, and I've got 3 or 4. And I just asked them, if you know me, which you do, and you kind of like what I do or have done, could you give me a subscribe? I expected a dozen people, and then it just went up and up and up. And I don't know if it's stopped yet, but I mean, I think it's slowing down now. But I was just, wow, wow. And I didn't even bother to go to LinkedIn, where I've got another 6 or 7,000, and I get a much better engagement. I might do, actually. I may very well do. So, yeah, amazing. I'm just sorry I'm talking and not thinking. That's the one thing that I've got to learn. And the really good streamers like Meg, they have learnt the art of playing and talking. I've only learnt the art of talking. Oh, I don't know how to stand up. Am I stood up? I don't think I am. Hang on, let's try some key combos here. There we go. Yeah, I did. I thought I was crouching because I was going so slow. And Rokk, what? Get your map out. No, why not? There's a dude who's going to try and hurt me if I do. Okay, take him out. Good night. I'm quite close, actually heading in the right direction. That's cool. Let's just get back to my... There we go. And I think people like what I do. Obviously, I've got some work to do to get the views up. Streaming at... Go away. At silly o'clock. I mean, there was no conscious decision around this. You know, I'm not looking at, as I should do, and as most content creators do, I'm not looking at a world clock and trying to establish where... I'm not looking at my analytics, for example, and thinking, yeah, actually, most of your views are coming from X country, so I should be timing myself to... Actually, I think most of them come from Britain, which would make sense given that, given the way I got my subscribers, if you think about it. So getting up at 5:30 in the morning to stream is clearly not going to get me a ton of people watching, and also not scheduling it and pre-announcing it. But that's okay, because honestly, this was what I'm trying to do at the moment, is learn my craft. Because I think, although look, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here, I'm not going to come on every day for 8 hours and stream. It's not going to happen. There's an argument that says, well, hang on, if you're playing, why don't you stream it? That's true. But, I'm just not going to have the time to do that and create content and engage with the community and my friends and, of course, run a business. So this is only going to be an occasional thing. But I do want to do it, and I do enjoy it, and I do think I can to a degree. As I said, I'm not in the league of people that are doing this as their main content creation, and I'm in awe of what they do, because it looks like it's so darn simple, but it isn't. As anyone that's done it knows. Hello, Dolly. But I do want to be able to do it. So you learn by practice, right? So I'm practicing. So I'm coming on at silly times of the day, because I don't want to bore anybody rigid and attract people to what I'm doing, and then have them think, well, that was a waste of my time, because it would be, to a degree, I think, unless you like the sound of my voice, and I know there are some of you that do, and occasionally I say things that I think are quite useful, but not very often. Hence the time. Now, I know that I've got to roughly go in that direction. Actually, it's that direction. No, I'm not going to get across that. That is very clearly left there by the developer to say go away. So I need to find another entry point. Is that a ladder, and is it there for a purpose? The answer is no. Can I jump on here? Almost certainly not. If I go into one of these traps, I ain't getting out. That's 100% certain. So there must be another way around, which is probably around here. I'm going to guess. I'm making a little guess. And I think that's the way I came in, isn't it? The first time with my little boat. Let's have a look. No. Okay, let's do it. I think I did. I just think I did. I think I exited the wrong way. I've got to kind of go in this direction. I think. Let's have a look at the map. Yeah, it is definitely this way. So that's where I need to. Oh no, that's just going to get me. Isn't that just going to take me straight back to where I was a second ago? I wonder. It's I don't know if you've ever played Metro Exodus. It's yeah. You see, I came here, didn't I? That was a waste of my time. So what if I go round through that door again, because I've obviously opened it already, but try to, yeah. Excuse me. Yep, so hello mate. Hello mate. I do feel sorry for him. Should I put him out of his misery, or do I not want to waste a bullet? I could just use one of these, couldn't I? I don't want to just leave him in there. There you go. Sweet dreams, my friend. No, I came through there. That was very purposeful of the game. And you can't get through there because even though you could probably smash the wood, it's not, is it? Let's be honest. So, I don't know. I'm getting a bit bored now, as I'm sure you are. I might go and get some breakfast, actually. How long have I been streaming? 47 minutes. Okay. Let's just go down the end of here and see if I can get around this way. Well, I'm fairly certain I can't. The boat would have to take me all the way down there, and that looks like a dead end to me. Yeah. However, no, you can't go all the way down and around because there's obviously a block of some description. Got to be across land, my friend. Conundrum. I'm definitely not getting over there. I'm not climbing up on there, and if I was, would it serve a purpose? I don't think so, is the answer. There's no platform to jump onto, is there? Ooh, excuse me. And see, that kind of looks like but it's not, because just the experience of the game tells me that it won't let me jump up. It's too high. Whee. Always pops you back up, which is pretty cool. But it is also a way of telling you that you do not go that way. It's just, what's the binoculars again? There we go. You see that there? That looks to me like a place I need to be going. Let's have another look at that. So, if I get my boat, my little boat, and can I get in there? I don't know that I can, you know, but I might be able to hop over these. No, damn. I'm not giving up. I'm going to try this again, because let's get rid of that gun. The game sometimes puts objects down like these, No. Which you can sort of use as a bridge, but you have to get the position just right, and I'm not sure that it's. No, it's not going to let me. That's annoying. The reason that I'm just thinking the boat's maybe not such a good idea. If I get the binoculars out again, well, you can see it yourself with the gun here. There's all this stuff before you get to that area that we spotted. I'm not sure that the boat can get around there. Plus, I don't know what I've done with it. Where did I put my little boat? Oh, it was around here, wasn't it? Around here. Been through these areas. I mean, they were just places to explore, weren't they? They weren't. Here it is. They offered no clue. Let's get back in my little boat. And we'll have a look. We'll go back and see if... I think I'll do an hour, folks. We're 51 minutes in. I'll do an hour. I think that's not bad for a trial run on a Saturday morning. What was I going? Do you know? I started talking to you about Generation X, didn't I? So, Clive, there's two, if I'm honest. There's two content creators that I used to watch before I got into it that really impressed me, and kind of partly were the inspiration behind me wanting to get into it. One of them was Bill and Lloyd, Stadia cast. Yeah, look, that's that entrance that we did have a look at. And the other one was Clive Illenden, and I just liked he's kind of quirky. He's never going to see this, so don't worry. And I just love that. And I just thought, yeah, you know, he's really comfortable with himself and with what he's doing, which is really cool. And I looked into the guy, and he has an amazing history, work-wise. I mean, really interesting. You can look it up. I don't need to tell you. I don't need to tell you. No, I mean, you know, some of these things I feel uncomfortable talking about, but it's easy to find this stuff out if you know if you know where to look, and of course you do. So, anyway, long story, as they usually are, trying to shorten. There's another boat over there. Look. There's another clue. Long story short, I was doing some stuff, and Clive reached out to me and said, I've got an idea for a show, and I could do with a co-host. At least this is how I remember it. I'm sure it's not this. I'm sure Clive will say, no, that's not how it worked. Would it be something you'd be interested in? And I didn't even think about it. I just said, yeah. I mean, I love going on people's shows anyway. Honestly, if someone invites me on and I've got the time, I don't need to think twice. It's not even a problem for me. There's a door there, and I'm just thinking to myself, wouldn't it make sense to try and get in that door? The thing is, though, it wouldn't let me take the boat. It wouldn't let me take the boat around there. So I'm going to try and game this a bit and see if I can, bunny hop my way in. Of course, we'll get here now and realise that it's just there you go, look at that. It's just a piece of architecture, as they say in development, and I can't get anywhere near it. That was a complete waste of breath, wasn't it? So yeah, Generation X, and the concept is that he and I are what is called Generation X, which is anybody who was born before 1981, which we were. We were both born the same year, funnily enough, but I'm actually older by about 6 months, 7 months. And I genuinely believe that I'm certainly the oldest content creator not in the world, in this community. And obviously Clive's pretty much there as well. And I know there are people like Ray3473 who's in his 40s, Wingy. I mean, there are several guys who probably. I was going to say Stadia Mania Lee, but Lee's was actually born in '81, and I'm not sure whether that counts as to whether you're Generation X or Generation Y. I think it is. Anyway, look, this thing, older gamers, right? And that, of course, doesn't mean that younger people born '81 and on, wouldn't enjoy the show. Far from it. I think you would enjoy it because you'd enjoy watching us in whatever we do. It's just that we've got some life experiences that you guys, anybody older than '81, obviously you weren't there. Simple as that. So we can tell you things about going to the launch of the first Star Wars movies, for example, which you never experienced. And I've got some stories around that. There's things like that. Growing up, I mean, I always say I was born in the '60s. I was a child in the '70s. I was kind of a youth in the '80s. I got married in the '90s. It's interesting how it's kind of my life's followed the decades, really. And so we just felt it'd be kind of cool, because we don't think, I mean, there are older gamers that, I mean, I'm guessing Bill from Stadia Cast is older than 1981. I'm only older, yeah. I'm only guessing that because some people, can age a bit more than others in terms of, I've inherited a gene from my mum's side that essentially, even though I'm 53, I have very little grey hair. At my age right now, I should be, Father Christmas. And it's kind of embarrassing, actually. I mean, being honest here, because people, very often think I dye my hair, and I genuinely don't. My brother, funnily enough, doesn't have the gene, and he's really grey, and he's a year younger than me, and he takes great delight in telling his friends that I dye my hair, which is cruel. Oh, is he going to shoot me or what? Yeah, he's not. He's not a goodie. If that dude hadn't sent me a mic, I'm obviously clearly meant to come here though. After monkeying about on that boat for so long. Bear in mind, I'm on a keyboard and mouse, not my control set of choice, and that's going to make life harder for me in taking these dudes out. Got him. Blimey, we've covered some ground, haven't we, in this little stream? For context, that's partially because I don't have anybody in my chat for reasons I've gone into, and obviously if I did, I would be responding to questions and stuff, so that's fine. So you've had a little potted history. Generation X, get back on topic, my friend. Okay. We are still mulling, or Rick, sorry, not Rick, Clive is still mulling over when we're going to go live with it. But what I've suggested is that we sort of probably hang off to... It's all right to die there because I'm going to end it now. We're probably going to hang back until after Stadia Super Saturday, which is obviously this next Saturday, Saturday the 25th, if you're watching this after today, which is a Saturday. And it kind of, this whole week leading up to it, I think we should leave that to Stadia Super Saturday to promote and so on. I don't want to steal any thunder. We might do, I don't know. But, I'm quite keen not to do that because obviously I'm part of it, as is Clive. We both have a slot. Clive will be doing the kind of stuff that Clive does, which is great. You should watch his videos anyway because they are really good. And his Monday night chat, which I was involved with last week, which was kind of our little test, actually, to see if we could keep a rapport going and work really well. So you should watch that Monday night. It's really cool, and he's going to be kind of doing that, I think, on Saturday 25th. I had a decision to make because, as you'll know if you watch my channel, most of what I do is pre-recorded. This is an exception, and when I do live round table stuff with Chase or Stadia Source, and obviously in the past Glory of Stadia, and I love doing that. I love doing that stuff. I loved doing the Glory of Stadia. I'd be back there in a heartbeat if those guys invited me on. So most of my stuff's recorded, and I thought, well, I don't want to do a recording and shove it on there. I could just take a recent episode, whack it on for, why waste time? So instead I thought, well, why don't I use that time to promote other content creators, but specifically those who've not had the exposure, possibly, partly maybe because they've only just started, partly because they are maybe not quite as good at pushing themselves. Maybe they feel a bit awkward about it, which is fine. Because, it takes a lot of confidence to get up and do this stuff. It really does. And I thought, why don't I've got 2.5 hours back to back. So why, if you've ever watched my Stadia Rocks, you'll have seen there's a newish section called Stars of Stadia. I've done 2 interviews so far. First one was with Dan Wheeler, the Stadia Source, who's a diamond. And last week it was Brian from Stadia, Club Stadia, which were great. And actually the next one is going to be Clive, but that's just a coincidence, because actually we recorded it a couple of weeks ago, and I've just not had the time to do a Stadia Rock. So the next one's going to have Clive in, and I'll use that as obviously it's a great platform to promote Generation X. So my slot is going to be playing a game. I haven't decided which yet, but it's 7 o'clock GMT or BST. So it's not going to be a shooter or anything that's got blood in it and stuff. It's going to be, Grid or Crew or Spitlings or whatever. And then in the first slot, I'm going to have two content creators plus me. And the same in the second. So overall, there will be. Have I got that right? No, it's going to be me plus 3. Yeah, 4. That's right. 6. I'm going to highlight 6 people. That's the plan. And signed up so far is Happy Game Clouder, Happy Cloud Gamer. Oh my God, I need a coffee. Is an absolutely lovely guy from Norway, and I'm always not envious, but hyper impressed with people who are able to not only create content and have the confidence to do it, but do it in a language that is not their own. He's Norwegian. I mean, and he speaks amazing English. So he's definite. And also Duncan from Stadia Source, One to Escape. He, again, is someone who is well known through his association with Stadia Source, and obviously from doing chat shows with people like Chase, and has an immense knowledge of Stadia and gaming, full stop. But he also does streaming. He also does streams, and he does some of his own content, and he's really good, and they're really entertaining. So I've got those 2 so far. I've got to find another 4. So I guess this is a long-winded way of saying that if you are that person, or you think you can think of someone, ideally I'd want somebody who was not front and center in the community, that possibly has less than 100 subs, although I'm negotiable on that, to be honest with you, because if they've been around a long time, it may just be a process of osmosis. and who would benefit from it. And before you suggest Ray 3473, who is an absolutely perfect candidate, he was one of the first people I asked. Unfortunately, he can't make the day; he's working. But I would have had him on in a heartbeat. So yeah, 4 slots, and hopefully that could be you, or you may know someone. And if it is, could you just ping me a tweet or DM me? That would be absolutely massive. I am going to end this right now. Thank you for watching. Thank you if you joined at any point in the stream. That's really appreciated. And I'll catch you in the cloud. Rock out.